Hello guys, Wambura alias Joseph Blessed here, and welcome to my crib and my editing station. I'm very much sure majority of you, if you look around, you'll be able to tell or maybe probably guess on what is happening here. But prior to that, I'm seeing something spoiling my prop. I'm gonna remove it. This white um, shit. I use it to cover myself, especially during cold season. We're good now to go. Okay, guys. Today, I just decided to share a bit of the story behind my editing journey, or rather, on my cinema, live streaming, and photography, or rather, digital creation at large. I'm very much sure majority of you, when you see someone doing videos or rather making photos around, you might not be able to know their journey. And at some point, personally, I thought that why do we have these social media platforms, the YouTube, Facebook, and any other relevant social media? They're there to share our stories. And I'm going to give you a story on how I've been having a tough journey in creating my YouTube account. Actually, if you visit my YouTube account, this is exactly this one. You must be able to tell there's something that has changed. I had more than 1,000 videos, but when you look at this channel right now, probably you're going to get one or two. And you ask yourself, where are others? Of course, I deleted them. But of course, there are other important that I could not delete them because they're a bit of monumental, I would say so. So I had to put them in private. So I'm going to avail them in public when the time is necessary. So for now, I decided to share a bit of my videography or rather digital creation journey. Where did it start? But prior to that, allow me to introduce myself properly. I come from Migori County, a sub-county called Kuria, and Kuria West in particular, because Kuria, it is divided into two. We have two constituencies. We have Kuria East and Kuria West, but nevertheless, all those places are my origin. So in particular, I come from Kuria West, but majorly, or rather most of the time, I'm based in Nairobi because of this creation. So how did it all start? Maybe before I can come to videography or rather digital creation at large. Now, when I talk about videography or rather digital creation, I pray that now you figure out in the sense of photography, videography, and live streaming, because lately I actually started doing a bit of live streaming, lessons, of course, not in school. I'm one guy who just sit on this beautiful chair here, and I do my learning. As you can see this other end, you can see there is some tutorial going on here. I'm going to share the story about this tutorial. You see this camera? This is an EOS, it is a DSLR3, commonly known as Canon 250D. And this one is an R8 EOS, Canon R8 shooting in C-Log3, and it's more of a cinema camera, of course, a full frame. This is I don't know how you call it. Is this mirrorless or something? Anyway, I'm new to this video. You guys are gonna tell me in the comment section the difference between those two. So, how did I actually start the videography journey? Imagine I started off using my simple phone and a very simple software called InShot. That's all the hell broke. Yep, that's where I started. And prior to that, I was a musician, by the way. I used to do Swahili songs, majorly Zouk, which were written in Swahili, performed in Swahili. And I happened to appear in major platforms, made friends around that field. But I think something happened. I think some bit of financial constraint, because you all understand, if you are in the music scene or if you are in the creative space, you must be very much aware of how things are so much hard, especially if you really do not have that consistent financial support. So just like any other upcoming artist, I faced challenges financially. That is, financing my music. Of course, I had people who were supporting me in terms of, free recordings, and I'm going to mention their name in particular because why not give flowers where necessary? One of them is producer Paula. Is an African producer based in Kenya. I think he has studios in Mombasa as well, but by the time I was working with him, he had a studio in Ngong, uh, which is in Kajiado County, but anyway, we normally say it's Nairobi. So that guy used to record music for free, but and also I had another video director called Director Tats, who also used to offer videos for free. One of the videos that I've put in private, one of them, they are creation of Director Tats. That is why I did not want to delete them, because those are some of the historical creations that I can never do away with. So there's some of the things that I'm going to look at, and they remind me of my journey previously. I also remember people who came to my rescue when I actually needed them. So since I was a musician, and now that the music journey, not that I failed in terms of writing and performing and the voices and every other thing regarding the artistry effort, but it was the financial aspect and something developed in my mind, like what else can I do, something that really doesn't need much money to keep myself going. I probably am gonna come back to sing, but I was like, this one I can put aside because I need a little money to go to studio record music that does not bring money immediately. So I decided to venture into video production. And of course, I got many inspiration from so many people. Of course, Director Tats being one of them, used to do things so really easy for them. And I was like, I admired what he did. And many other video directors, like the one for Tanzanian, Hans Kana. I used to watch very many videos done by director Hans Kana, director who else? I mean, so many people who used to do those famous Tanzanian musicians. They were really doing very nice music videos. And we're like, I want to do something like this. But then resources as well was still a challenge. So I had to go with one of the very simplest, one of the most very simplest, or rather readily available resources. Of course, I had a phone. That was I had a phone, and of course, some softwares are very much free, especially when it comes to mobile usage. So this is InShot. InShot, I'm gonna give you your flowers. I don't know whether my frame is okay. All the videographer are gonna be like, "Oh, your frame is not okay." Forgive us, guys. That is how we behave. We like perfection. So I started off using a phone and InShot as a software. Things were really so beautiful because now during that time when I was an artist, of course, I used to sing and then make simple reels using my phone. Of course, static videos, put a stand, and then I record reels. At some point, I had a friend during the college called Eugene Ochio. Your flowers, bro. He used to do some good videos for me, and then I edit using InShot, and the transition really happened so fast. When I finished college, I came to Nairobi now. I went to college around the Kenya coastal region, Pine University. If you're there, say hi. So when I finished college, I came to Nairobi, of course, to look for a job and also something to start at, or rather somewhere to start at. So I came to Nairobi, I looked for a job, and then things were really so hard, but I got a job. I think the first job that I got, I was earning 17,000. And during that time, I was not able to buy any equipment regarding videography. But what did I do? I just had to keep myself ready. Remember that time I was still singing, going to studio, that is P Music Production, producer Paulo's studio. I record, I come back to my place. And I'm going to share the story about where I used to stay. That should be a story for another day. But for today, let me talk about the journey, about videography. So I go to studio, I come back home, I still continue learning videography in my phone. I upgraded a phone to something Vivo phone, which really did very nice videos. I really admire that phone, and which it's with someone very close to me. So I learned that thing, and then I got another job. I transitioned to a different company where I now started during the working there. I got promoted, by the way. I might mention it. Oh, no problem. I got promoted from a customer service agent to a quality analyst. Okay, and things were not really good. I think I did not like the new structure of the campaign that I was in, and something really started developing in my mind. Like, do I really need to do this? I felt like I need to do something different. So during the same time, a friend of mine, of course, a friend to my friend. Should I mention them? I think I should mention them at least to give credit. Someone called Jonao, which is a friend to my very closest friend called Peter Blessing. So Jonao calls me, tells me there's someone looking for someone who can do simple reels for barbershop and spa. Could you be interested? I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. Is it for, will I be paid to do the job? And I was like, yes. So he connected this guy, and I speak with this guy on phone without knowing that this is actually someone whom I was with in high school. Though I was a bit one class ahead. Forgive me, guys. Let me come. Let me do something small. I'm coming. Thank you for allowing me to excuse myself. Okay. So I meet this guy. We plan for a day. We meet, and then by the time we meet this guy, I realized this is someone whom we were with in high school, and we are like, man, this world is so small. How did you happen to be here? We catch up, and we start working, and then this guy is called Smith. Smith, where you are, bro? I appreciate you. Mm, so this guy was my content plan. I used to provide the content plan, of course, provide all the resources, human resource. For me, I just avail myself with my phone and then make shoots and then edit and then send them. So by then I was still using InShot. I think now the barbershop and the spas bosses were not really so much happy about my work. Yeah, guys. So before I reach where I am at the moment, which I'm not at the top yet, but I believe I am somewhere really so much great. So I really got rejection as well. So the bosses were like, "We really don't like the work. How about the fonts? Because the spas and barbershop videos, you have to do the video, also include the fonts. Perhaps if you want to include the phone number or rather maybe the location and any other necessary detail needed in that video for marketing." So the videos were well edited, but they did not really like about the fonts. So they recommended whether I could use a different software. Of course, they asked me which software I was using. I told them, and they were like, no, our previous videographer really used to do an amazing job. And for me, I took it positive. That was a positive criticism. Besides, that was something to push me to growth. So I took the challenge and I agreed, well, I'm going to work on myself. Let me look for a different software. And now my content planner suggests to start using CapCut. Boom. That was one of the amazing softwares that I've ever encountered in my videography journey. So I started learning CapCut, which is a very simple software to use. I'm not paying to do a promotion for the same, but anyway, credits were due. This software really did me good. I learned this CapCut for just a very short period of time, like 2 weeks, and I was good. Remember, I had a background in short, so there's no really big difference. So CapCut, it has so many features. This one you just click and use. So I was at better place. So guys, it was really so amazing experience, and the bosses really liked my work, and they were like, wow, we like this. We want to work with this guy like forever. Clap for me, guys. Here comes a celebration after a couple of rejections. So I get that job. I do that job. Of course, they used to pay me some good money for a passive income. Of course, remember, I was still working in my previous employer, which things were not really going well, especially in terms of, my psychological thing. I had really shifted and was like, I want to do something different from this, because my attention had really shifted to, just being a creator and not just being employed, So, guys, the same time, I think that was around this year, January date 8th, if I can remember correctly, I sent my resignation, okay, to my to my former employer, and I really wanted to do something related to videography. I was like, if I'm gonna get a job, let's just revolve around videography or rather digital creation. That was it. So in this case, I was so much interested to do photography, but when I kept on learning, I realized that, I got more ease doing videos than just photos. It's not like I'm lazy, but I think my passion is too much into video production than just photography. If it is photography, I like for corporate or just event photography, just you want to do some good shots and then send the photos without necessarily have to sit down and edit. Yes, that one you're gonna find me in. But if you want me come do photos and go sit down edit, well, I can do them. Of course, in this machine I have the photo editing softwares. This one I normally do videos. Of course, I also have the software for video here, but not so much with photos. So I did much of video learning. Of course, not in school. As I said earlier, I normally learn from here. So sit down, the knowledge is everywhere. Let me tell you guys, sometimes you have so many excuses as to why you do not get into a certain level or else to the next level. You know, excuses, oh sijui hasijapata support. Support is just around. So imagine now if I wouldn't have started with the reasons that I did not have school fees, sorry, to pay for my video production you know, modules, maybe in a certain college somewhere. You know, knowledge is just everywhere. I just get to YouTube. Kudos to YouTube, because everything's just here. I just search whatever I just want to learn around videography or other digital creation at large, and then I find the knowledge here. I have it. So I kept with the journey, learning, guys. I remember now I've quit, and then now everything that I'm creating is I am saving money to buy more equipment. Guys, this is not where I want to be, because I have very few equipment here. I'm looking forward to having, you know, a creation like one of the state of the art studios in the world. Like is this called a Tyler Perry studio? Yeah, I want to go there someday. I want to go there, and it's my wish that one day I find myself in a Tyler Perry studio to go, you know, benchmark what's happening. That is my dream. I want to get my production, or rather my creative journey there. One day that I become just a directive creator, not just, you know, doing the handwork. But they say before you can become a leader, become a servant. Does this really make sense? Okay, I mean, before you can become a boss, learn the skill itself. So that is it, guys. Now, what are some of the jobs that I started really working at low level? Of course, as I started earlier doing, you know, reels, individual reels, of course, doing for these beautiful ladies, you know, beautiful girls. They want to get some good videos, reels, you know, while they're flossing around. I show up myself. I do the video, I do the reels, I edit for them, and they like them. Of course, it is 9 by 16. YouTube is a big screen, 16 by 9, but for individual reels, of course, I used to do as 9 by 16 aspect ratio. And they like it, of course. I use CapCut, I use the flares, I use the big, very good transitions, you know, very suitable, beautiful fonts, and they really like the work. I remember the first reel that I did before I quit my previous employment. I did very beautiful reels for some colleagues, and they paid me, was it was 500 shillings, that's equivalent of how many dollars, guys? Anyway, am I really good in mathematics? Let me convert that. Just be patient. Where are you going, guys? Let me go get to my Google. 500 shillings. Okay. Wait. In dollars. I'm struggling. 500, it should be $500 shillings in dollars. Yeah, that's around $4. Let me say so, because the exchange rate now is at 3.88, so that was $3.9. Imagine. So but I got excited because they actually like the work. They make very many recommendations. They're like, we want to work with you. Remember, that was a group, and now I started getting, you know, gigs from individual, each one of them, and like, can we work together? Can I get this one? I'm like, yeah, sure, let's proceed. And then we work, they pay me. Of course, as time went by, I started getting you know, real estate shoots, doing reels for Airbnbs, especially in Kenya, Nairobi in particular, and Kileleshwa, Lavington, though, and those are the posh, you know, places. And my clients really liked the work, and they were like, we want to work with you, and they made very many referrals. And of course, since the first reel I charged 500 shillings, that equivalent to $4.9. I now scale up the price a little bit, because of course as time went by, I started being professional, started getting the more skills, you know, the work is becoming really so beautiful, and I was like, it's not worth charging this low price. Let me scale a bit. Of course, the cost of production increased. Boom, it happened that I got money. Of course, I was working and saving money. I bought this camera, this Salware 3, a Canon 250D. I bought this one with my own money. Of course, it was in cash. I was so much happy. Remember, guys, I started off you buying this computer. I needed a very powerful machine that I could do the editing. Previously, you could be asking yourself, what were you doing? Where were you getting the footages, since you did not buy a camera? Now that you just introduced this one, you bought it recently. I bought this machine. I used to get footages just online, stock footages. I get those one raw or rather flat footages. I tried to color grade, but they really became a challenge because I was still an amateur. So I decided to do standard editing. So I used to get standard footages and stock videos and then try to edit them using this computer. I bought a software from one guy called Don who sold the software to me. He installed the software remotely. If you're there and you're wondering that you don't want to invite someone to your house to install the software, you just want to link up with me, drop a comment. I'm going to link you with someone who's going to install the software remotely at a very affordable price. So that is how the things really escalated. Time went by, I bought more equipment. I advanced and added this lens. This is a 50mm. Remember, guys, when you buy a camera, they're going to give you something we call a kit lens. So this one, a kit lens, is the camera that is the lens that comes with the camera itself. So this one came with a kit lens of 18 to 85, 18 to 55, sorry, millimeter. So I got more money, saved, and bought this 50 millimeter lens at, was it 16 or 20,000, but somewhere there between 16 to 20,000. I've forgotten the price because now time has really gone up. Bought a couple of equipment, I can't remember exact price, but it was between 16 to 20,000. I bought this lens, I got more visuals, pictures became more beautiful, I advanced, I bought so many things around, and the lights are here. I am not where I was, guys. Trust me, if you knew me a couple of months ever since I started this journey for video editing, you must attest to that this is actually true. I've walked this journey. So today, where am I today? Okay, I am where I was doing a standard editing.